Everyone has an idea in their heads of a storybook wild. These are places that exist on our planet that are so vast and untouched, they could never feel the effects of human influence. It's comforting almost to have these ideas of wild spaces, affirming our childhood imaginations. When facing the reality of our modern day planet, however, these wild spaces don't really exist anymore. In reality, our landscape as we know it is shrinking and will continue to do so with our current course of action. We intend to bring to light the increasing loss of nature of our wild spaces, challenging the idea of endless wilderness. By doing so, we hope to personalize this wide-scale concept, therefore completing the often difficult task of finding relatability in seemingly extensive matters.
Our goal with this documentary is to give an accurate portrayal of the current environmental state. Many popular nature documentaries idealize false perceptions of thriving nature, while we want to show the true mass effects humans have on the environment. Bill McKibben writes, "But the meaning of the wind, the sun, the rain of nature has already changed. Yes, the wind still blows, but no longer from some other sphere, some inhuman place. Our perceptions of the wild are no longer accurate. Nature was unknown, but no longer. The consequences of this shift are extreme and require a shift in our views to realize."
Some might not realize the harm that cutting down trees can cause, not only to animals that live in them, but to humans as well. Trees provide our oxygen, so why are we killing ourselves? These landscapes also provide homes for various animals, and as we continue to tear the landscape down to make it more modernized, the animals are losing a home. Humans are responsible for the extinction of these animals. In a time where lions and zebras are celebrated in our children's storybooks, we choose to ignore the harsh realities they're facing in real life. According to a 2014 study, current extinction rates are 1,000 times higher than they would be if humans weren't around.
Nature writer Jedediah Purdy writes, "The squirrels, rabbits, and sparrows that surround my North Carolina porch are less signs of burgeoning life than survivors of an apocalypse." This apocalypse, Purdy mentions, is a representation of the extreme changes our environment has undergone. When we see creatures in our backyard, they do not live or originate in an endless wild space. They are part of the same human-infested spaces we all come from. It is incorrect to view them as a representation of nature in its purest form, when in reality, they represent how much nature has changed due to our influences.
We think of the ocean as a vast body of water where most of it is unknown and untouched. But as we become more aware of our surroundings, we realize that this is not the case. Off the coast between California and Hawaii, there is an area covered in floating trash. This patch is estimated to cover 1.6 million square feet while having a mass of almost 80,000 tons. Not only is this obviously harmful to wildlife, it harms humans as well. This is not something that we should just brush off because it is not our problem or it doesn't affect us, because it is, and it does. According to the Ocean Cleanup, through a process of bioaccumulation, chemicals in the plastics will enter the body of the animal feeding on the plastic, and as the feeder becomes the prey, the chemicals will pass to the predator, making their way up the food web that includes humans. This proves that we are in fact affected and should care about what we do with our trash.
Often we treat issues with an out of sight, out of mind mentality. Global warming is a problem that we are facing, yet everyone believes that it is not necessarily our problem. For this reason, our ice caps are melting, which in turn is going to limit our land space. The big story in Greenland and Antarctica is that the warming ocean is working on its way in, deep under the ice sheets, causing the ice to collapse faster than anyone predicted, which in turn will cause sea levels to rise faster than what humans can cope with. The population has been growing significantly each year, with our land becoming limited. We won't have space for everyone.
It can often be difficult relating to a phenomenon occurring in such different places and places that are so far away. To bring this issue closer to home, this is footage from our very own Ronaldo Trail. As you can see, the trail itself is very beautiful and well kept. The trails themselves depict a beautifully kept landscape. Taking a few steps off the trail, however, you can see a landscape scattered with trash. This is true reality hidden behind the false perceptions of a pristine landscape. We are trying to cover up for ourselves by only showing what we want to see rather than what needs to be seen. However, in all this devastation, there is still hope. We must realize the complex relationships that humans and nature now share. We no longer live in a world where complete naturalistic isolation is possible, nor do we have the right to complete mastery over nature. We must become aware of the ways for humans and nature to coexist, which will be the first big step towards a solution.